So, I got carried away with the libraries the last couple weeks. This is If Then 92. Welcome to the DELANY's book series. I'm Christine K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy smash stuff going on here. And I'm a little discombobulated this morning, so please go with me on this. I'm trying to decide what to do for next week. Go full on Christmas or not yet. My house isn't decorated as of yet, and you'll probably see decorations February, March. We'll see what happens. But some of these I've done reviews for on the channel. Some of these I am going to be doing reviews on the channel for. So we're just going to go through them. My notes are sort of kind of out of order. And I'm going to try and do them in order. These are bookstores. We've done libraries. We've done libraries for libraries, cozy mystery libraries, and we've done sci-fi sort of fantasy sort of libraries, and maybe a few contemporary romances thrown in. Now we're doing cozy mystery bookstores. There is a couple at the end here that are not cozy mysteries, but they ended up in my pile, so I'm going to go ahead and do those. And please stick with me. Alright, so I don't think I printed this one out. I'll just have to go through it and see it. I probably did, and it'll come back to bite me at the end. But alright, so a guidebook to murder. And these are where the people in the book own a bookshop or work in a bookstore. And I've done the reviews on these. Please go back and watch the videos. I did the first 3, maybe 4, before I lost it, because it had nothing to do with tourism. I mean, there was tourists, but go back and watch all the videos on these. I don't like the relationships between her and, what is it, the aunt? It's just, I don't know. Go back and watch my videos. But this is the first one we're doing. She does own a bookstore. With the lady next door owns the bakery and stuff like that, and they have tourists come through, and every time they have a business town meeting, somebody dies. And her and the cop may be on and on, off again relationship. And I don't know why the aunt doesn't live with her in the house, but the aunt lives above the store, and it's just, and there's no trusting there. There's so many secrets there. I know the series is just starting. Well, actually, I think it's 15 or 16 books now, but I only got through the first 4, and the relationship still hadn't been established. And it's just, I don't know. I may go back to it one day, I may not, but I did do at least its first 3 or 4. So this is the first one. When Jill's elderly friend Miss Emily calls in a fit of pique, she already knows that the city council is going to try and force Emily to help her sell her dilapidated old house. But Emily's gumption goes for naught when she dies unexpectedly and leaves the house to Jill, along with all of her problems and her enemies. Convinced her friend was murdered, Jill is finding the list of suspects longer than the list of repairs needed on the house. But Jill is determined to uncover the culprit, especially if it gets her closer to South Coast's finest detective Greg King. Problem is, the killer knows she's on the case, is determined to close the book on Jill permanently. But her and the cop, their relationship, he's got an ex that hangs out of town too, and the whole thing was it just didn't work for me. But you never know. Alright, we're gonna save this one for last. Alright, so this one, she does not own a bookstore. Did I do one? I don't think I did one for her. Oh, I did. I mixed these up. because that bottom does not go with that top. All right, so Mac owns a bicycle shop, and her father's a priest. And she has her brother lives in the lighthouse, and she has a book club, but she repairs bicycles. That's her thing. And I wouldn't have included this except that I couldn't resist the fact that it was this volume deals with murder in a bookstore. All of her murder books deal with one's in a taffy shop, one's in the Waffle House, one's here, one's there. But when I saw this, I just thought I'd throw it in. I love her bird, and she has Miss ALEXA in her house, and the bird talks to her, and the bird even used it. Now, in previous years, they have said that she's not capable of doing that, but current versions, I believe, are successfully capable of calling the 911 if necessary in emergencies, and her bird does do that for her. And when she's dating the guy in some of the books, but then she marries him, and they're moving into her house, and they're expanding her house, and her house is really small, and they find a dead body in her house. They tear down the walls to expand it, and they discover a dead body. But anyway, this one is, everyone loves a festival, though Mac has a few concerns about the spring equinox event organized by the Chamber of Commerce director Wagner Levy. After all, March weather is unpredictable. Still, there's plenty to enjoy. Between flower-shaped candies at Salty's Taffy, spring rolls at the Rusty Anchor, and a parade of decorated bicycles. But the festival soon takes a stormy turn. Mac glimpses conflict between Wagner and her locals during the festival, but it's a shock when he's found dead in the book nook, pinned beneath a toppled bookshelf. It's an irresistible case for Mac's book group. She and the rest of the cozy capers will have to use all their sleuthing skills to bring the killer's story to an end. But this is cute. The relationships between her and her mother and her, I think she calls her Oma. She doesn't call her grandma. And the boyfriend, soon husband, and the brother. The brother's got some issues. He's got some alcoholic issues in the past. He's got a little girl daughter. So I think I've done some of these for the series. I'm not sure if I read them before I started my YouTube channel. I think I did. I think I did some of these for the channel. So you have to check those out. All right, let me get I need something here. All right. So I need something darker. Maybe this one will work. Let's see. Okay, so we did this one. And alright. I don't want to do her yet. We have done. Where is it now? Alright. All these books all over my house. Growing books. Pearl on the Page, Margaret Loudon. The Open Book Mystery Series is a charming, cozy mystery series set in the quaint village of Chad-on-Sea. And it's Penelope Parrish is ready to close the book on her amateur sleuthing for now. The Open Books writer in residence will be sticking to villains of the fictional variety when she... Come here. Come here. Come here. What? You dug your nails into me. I'm gonna pick you up if you dug your nails into me. Go. So, Penelope Parrish is ready to close the book on her amateur sleuthing from now on. The Open Books writer-in-residence will be sticking to villains of the fiction variety when she puts the final touches on her new novel. But when an author is murdered inside the bookshop, all of Upper Chumley on the Stoke goes on high alert. Now it's up to Paige and her companions to solve the murder. Alright, so we did this one. Alright, that one I have to find. I don't want to do this one yet. this one was different, and I just thought I'd show it. I think, I should have wrote this down. I am so bad at this, really, I am. Okay, Molly MACRAE is, let's see, Margaret Welch and Bitsy are siblings, and they own a bookstore. It's called Blue Plum Books. And I saw this and I couldn't resist to take a look at it. It doesn't look like a bookshop mystery, right? Too bad dead pigeons are just the beginning. Margaret Welch is in her idea of heaven. She has what many people only dream of, a successful bookstore in a charming old house. Even better, she and her bookstore are located in Stonewall, a picturesque town nestled in the foothills of Tennessee's Blue Ridge Mountains. Unfortunately, Margaret also has a sister, Bitsy. The morning Bitsy flings a dead pigeon on her sales counter, Margaret decides that never assume anything as far as Bitsy is concerned is a sound policy. Next on the scene is the mysterious stranger cousin Leona brings home. Quickly following are the dumpster incident, the renegade goats, the exploding goldfish pond, and then events take a more deadly turn, and nobody, especially perennial depressed Officer Buckles, seems able to stop the escalating violence. When Bitsy takes matters into her own overwrought hands and the police dismiss an attempt on Margaret's life, Margaret realizes she'll have to pull her nose out of her bookstore and solve the crime herself. Law and Order. Uh-huh. Alright, that's at the bottom of the pile. Let's do one at the top of the pile first. Alright. We may do this one. I may actually sit down and read this one. It's lively and humorous cozy mystery set in the quirky town of Hazel Rock, Texas. It follows Charlie Ray Warren, a former kindergarten teacher turned reluctant bookstore owner who finds herself solving murders by navigating small town drama, family secrets, and her pets. Let's see. Charlie agreed to sell off the family bookstore housed in a barn and settle her estranged dad's debts, if only so she can ride into the sunset and cut ties with Hazel Rock forever. But the trip is extended when Charlie finds her realtor dead in the store, strangled by a bedazzled belt. And with Daddy suspiciously MIA, father and daughter are topping the most wanted list. It's cute. And another one I am considering doing is this one. V.M. Burns, The Plot is Murder, is a clever and layered cozy mystery collection featuring North Harbor, Michigan, and the series follows Samantha Washington, a widow who fulfills her dream of opening a bookstore and finds herself solving real-life murders while writing historical whodunits. Samantha Washington has dreamed of owning her own mystery bookstore for as long as she can remember. As she prepares for the store's grand opening, she's also realizing another dream, penning a cozy mystery set in England between the wars. While Samantha hires employees and fills the shelves with the latest mysteries, quick-witted Lady Penelope Marsh, a long overshadowed by her beautiful sister Daphne, refuses to lose the besotted Victor Carlson to her siblings' charms. When one of Daphne's suitors is murdered in a maze, Penelope steps in to solve the labyrinth puzzle and win Victor. But as Samantha indulges her imagination, the unimaginable happens in real life. A shady realtor turns up dead in her backyard, and the police suspect her after all. The owner of the mystery bookstore might know a thing or two about murder. Added by the feisty grandmother and the enthusiastic ensemble of colorful retirees, Samantha is determined to close the case before she opens a store. But will she live to conclude her own story when the killer has revised ending in mind? It's So we may be looking at these. V.M. Burns. Okay. I've got two of them here. I think this is the first one. I keep picking this up to read it. Oyster Bay, North Carolina. When I hear Oyster Bay, I think of my Oyster Bay in New York. In the small coastal town of Oyster Bay, North Carolina, you'll find plenty of characters, ne'er-do-wells, and even a few celebs trying to duck the paparazzi. But when murder joins the curious community, the Bayside book writers are there to get the story. Olivia Limoges is the subject of constant gossip ever since she came back to town, as a return as mysterious as her departure. Olivia has kept herself, her dog, and her unfinished novel with a cajoling from the eminent, charming writer of Camden Ford. She agrees to join the Bayside book writers, break her writer's book block, and even make a few friends. But when townspeople start turning up dead, the haiku poems left by the bodies, anyone... Oh, I did read this. I remember it. She has to solve those puzzles with the numbers in them in the newspaper that are really massively hard and that I would never even consider doing. Poems left by the bodies, anyone with a flair for language is suddenly a suspect, and it's up to Olivia to catch the killer before she meets her own end. Let's choose this one. Olivia thought gathering some of the most renowned storytellers in one place would be a nice, simple way for herself and the Bayside book writers to appreciate their talents. But things take a turn when the most famous storyteller in the nation, captivating performer Violet Devereaux, announces on stage that she will meet her end in Oyster Bay. When Viola is discovered murdered after the show, everyone involved with the retreat becomes a suspect. There are rumors that Viola, who grew up extreme poverty in the Appalachian Mountains, possessed an invaluable treasure. Now Chief Rawlings and the Bayside book writers must work at a frenzied pace to solve the crime. That one... Okay, that's done. Now, we have done this one for my series. I enjoy these. I just picked this one up because it's one of my Ho Ho Homicide. There's a couple of them. The Wee Wee Homicide is also, I've read quite a few of these, so they're on my channel. D. Louise book series, and then do KAITLYN DUNNETT. Search for KAITLYN DUNNETT. I really enjoy these books. She owns the Scottish Emporium, and well, actually her aunt owns it, but her aunt is never there, so she is the manager in charge. She has Sherry, her friend, Dan, her boyfriend, Chief McDougall, sometimes skeptical of Lisa's involvement, Trust Her Instincts, Pete Campbell, Sherry's husband, Violet, her cousin, a whole bunch of people in Moose Took a Lock, and I really enjoyed this series, so you'll have to go watch my videos on it, but I think it's the Wee Wee Homicide with the little toys. She discovers they're hot, like the Cabbage Patch Kids hot, and she goes ordering them, but people come from all over around town and around the state to come get these animals for their little stuffed toys for their kids for Christmas. This is a really good series. I enjoy the heck out of it. Business is booming at the Scottish Emporium in Moose Took a Lock, Maine, and Liz McCran and Ruskin couldn't be happier or busier. A romantic getaway at the rustic Christmas tree farm is just what she needs, but the property's mysterious past has her feeling less than merry. Oh yeah, and then the friend gave it to her, and her husband go up there, and it's a Christmas tree lot, and they find people dead in the Christmas tree lot. I remember this. I did do this book for my channel, so you'll have to go back and watch it. When a series of accidents interrupts the idyllic vacation, Liz and Dan start raising questions about the farm's dark history. Why did the owner vanish in thin air? Who was the man whose body was found netted in a shipment of Scottish pine? And why are the trees planted to form a maze more twisted than the Celtic knot? It's really interesting. Go check out my video for that. So we did this. I just okay. Alright. So, I've read a few of these for the channel. You'll have to go check them out. Gemma Doyle owns the Sherlock Holmes Bookshop and Emporium. Her uncle, I think Arthur, his name is, he's never in town, ever. He's traveling forever. And she sometimes asks his help when he's out, when, she's texting him forever. But she has Donald Morris. He always comes in Sherlock Holmes clothing. Detective Louise Estrada sometimes works with Emma, sometimes doesn't. But these are really good. I did these for the channel too, so you'll have to check those out. Oh, and she's got the cat. Gemma Doyle, a transplanted Englishwoman, has returned to the quaint town of West London on Cape Cod to manage her great-uncle Arthur Sherlock Holmes Bookshop and Emporium. The shop is located at 222 Baker Street, specializes in the Holmes, Canon, and Pastiche, and also the home of Moriarty the cat. When Gemma finds a rare and potential value magazine containing the first Sherlock Holmes story hidden in the bookshop, she and her best friend Jane, who run the adjoining Mrs. Hudson's tea room, set off to find the owner, only to stumble upon a dead body. The highly perceptive Gemma is the police's first suspect, so she puts her consummate powers of deduction to work to clear her name. Investigating a handsome rare books expert, the dead woman's suspicious, unmoved son, and a whole family of greedy characters desperate to cash in on their inheritance. But when Gemma and Jane accidentally place themselves at a secondary murder scene, it's a race to uncover the truth before the detectives lock them both up. So, yeah, I've done these for the channel. I remember doing all these. And so this is the one I was looking for because I kept thinking there's one with the tea shop next to it. Well, this is the series with the tea shop next to it. Well, that answers that question. They go to Europe a couple times, too. So they do that. Oh, I have another one of the other one. I'll just put it up. I have a couple of these. The KAITLYN DUNNETT. I pulled another one out. I'll just share it with you real quick. I really do like these. Liz hasn't been in Mustukalock in over 10 years, but the quaint little town nestled in hilly terrain of western Maine looks exactly like she remembers it. Only home a day before her aunt takes off on a Scotland tour and doesn't come back for months. So this must be the first one. Liz mans the Emporium booth, the annual Western Maine Highland Games. There she gets acquainted with some old friends and new local characters, including an obnoxious real estate agent and a spoiled girlfriend who insist on ordering a custom-made kilt sewn from plaid called the Flower of Scotland. Lisa knows a sale is a sale and returns to the Emporium that night, exhausted yet happy. But her bliss turns to dread when she finds her dead body of her aunt's nosy neighbor, Amanda Norris, under a bolt of the Flower of Scotland fabric in the stock room. And she's the prime suspect. Killed, dead. This is a good series. I really like it. Alright. We have another, might as well do it. It's in the pile. The Book of Candlelight. Ellery Adams. It's all the same series. As the owner of Miracle Books, Nora Pennington figures all the wet weather this spring is at least good for business. The local inns are packed with traded travelers stranded travels, and among them Nora finds both new customers and a new friend, a 60-something Sheldon who starts helping out at the store. Since a little rain never hurt anyone, Nora rides her bike over to the flea market one sudden day and buys a bowl from Danny at Cherokee Potter. It'll make a great present for Nora's EMT boyfriend. But the next day, a little rain turns into a lot of rain, and the Miracle River overflows its banks. Amid the wreckage of collapsed footbridge is Danny body lies with the churning water. Nora and her sheriff both doubt the ruling of accidental drowning, and Nora decides it's time for the secret book and Scone Society to turn into action. I remember reading this. I have to double check and see if I did it for the channel, but I remember reading this. Alright. I am currently reading this series, and we're doing the cop, doctor. Which way is she gonna go? And Paige needs to open up to her more. Paige is her assistant. And we have Lacey and Serena is your other characters. Serena is the girl in the middle. And Lacey is the cop's sister. And Darcy was the ex-girlfriend or so, I forget. But I'm sorry if I'm mixing up the characters. But I'm still reading this series. But anyways, although enjoying her extended stay working at the second-hand books and bindery in York Westshire, Addie still feels adrift, far from home, from her friends and her own beloved bookstore. Beyond the page and curios, the engagement party of her dear friend Tony at Milton Manor promises to be a joyful distraction, but there's an ill wind blowing at the estate when Tony presents his fiancée with a copy of Wuthering Heights as an engagement gift. The lord of the manor insists the book was stolen from his library. Have I done this one? Is this the one I'm supposed to read next? Yeah, I haven't read this one yet. That's why it looked unfamiliar. I grabbed the wrong one to show you. This is the newest one. I grabbed the newest one. I'm only up to the Tomb of Murder. That's what I'm reading right now. So, I got ahead of myself with this one. So you will be seeing this one in the next couple of days. That was she's still a bookstore. But I should have grabbed the earlier one. One of the ones I read. Alright, let's see what this is. Oh, this is, okay. Alright, so then, I'm enjoying this series, and I have read it for the channel. So please check some of these out on the D. Louise Book Series channel for these. Paige Shelton, the Scottish bookshop mystery. The Edwin McAllister owns the Cracked Spine, and you don't see too much of him, but he's got these massively old books, and a lot of them he hasn't even cataloged into his collection or anything yet. So that's what he has her do. That has Delaney do, and then she falls in love with the guy that owns the bar. So Edinburgh is in mourning the recent death of Queen Elizabeth II when bookseller Delaney Nicholas' boss comes to her with a most unusual summons. An old friend of his living on the estate in the village of Roslyn has found what could be a priceless relic on her property, and Delaney is tasked with investigating. Could the friend Jolie possibly have an item of breathtaking Scottish historical significance in her possession? But when Danny arrives at Jolie's estate, she's greeted by a legal team with a vested interest in the property. Jolie manages to remove the interlopers, but while examining the priceless item, Delaney and Jolie hear a scream and meet a much less welcome discovery, a man's body. Delaney digs deeper. She discovers Jolie's own fascinating history. Jolie's mother had long claimed that her daughter was the rightful heir to the throne, not Elizabeth, because of an affair she supposedly had with King Edward VIII. The only evidence, however, is the form of a purported journal that one of Edward's secretary kept. The puzzle becomes more confusing when a connection is uncovered between the far-fetched story and the murdered man. And we have done this for the channel, so please check that out. Alright, now I haven't done this one yet. I plan on. I'm thinking about reading it. It sounds good. Well read, then dead. Terry Farley Moran. Read 'em and Eat is known for its delicious treats and colorful clientele. There's Miss Augusta Maddox, who enjoys lecturing tourists on the rumors of sunken treasure among the islands, and her cousin Delia Batson, a regular at Emily Dickinson's table who's painfully shy, which makes the news of her murder all the more shocking. No one is more distraught than Augusta. She wants Stylish Killer found, and she's not taking no for an answer. Now Sassy is on the case, and she'd better act fast before there's any more trouble in paradise. Oh, here's the earlier ones. Alright. Now, before we get to my favorite one, my number one for retail books, we're going to do a few odd ones. These are not cozies. These are non-cozies. But they made it into my book pile, so I thought I'd share them with you. The book of second chance, the bookshop of second chances. Thea Martrain is having a bad month. She's been let go from her office job with no notice, and to make matters even worse, her husband of nearly 23 years has decided to leave her for one of her friends. Bewildered and completely lost, Thea doesn't know what to do, but when she learns that a distant great uncle in Scotland has passed away, leaving her his home and a hefty antique book collection, she decides to leave Sussex for a few weeks. Escaping to a small coastal town where no one knows her seems to be exactly what she needs. Almost instantly, Thea becomes enamored with the quaint cottage, comforted by its cozy rooms and lovely but neglected garden. The locals in nearby Valkyrie are just as warm, quirky, and inviting. The only person she can't seem to win over is bookshop owner Edward Maltravers, to whom she hopes to sell her uncle's book collection. His gruff attitude, fueled by infamous longing and feud with his brother, a local lord, tests Thea's patience, but bickering with Edward proves oddly refreshing and exciting, leading Thea to develop feelings she hasn't experienced for a long time. Another lady that I would not consider writing a bookshop thing, but she did. I usually consider her on the romance side. The Lost and Found Bookshop. In the wake of shocking tragedy, Natalie Harper inherits a charming but financially strapped bookshop in San Francisco. She also becomes the caretaker for her grandfather, Andrew, who grew up in the historic Padilla Street building that houses the store. Grandpa has also begun to struggle with memory loss, and Natalie plans to close the bookstore and sell the building to pay for his care. There's only one problem. Her grandfather owns it outright and refuses to sell. Natalie takes over the bookshop reluctantly, but finds that books provide welcome solace for her overwhelming grief. She hires an ex-Marine from Georgia, Peach Gallagher, to help repair the rickety old structure. Peach's younger daughter, Dorothy, is a bright light during Natalie's long days, and even manages to connect Natalie with Trevor Dashwood, a handsome celebrity novelist who takes an interest in the fortunes of Natalie's small bookstore. To Natalie's surprise, her time of mourning becomes an unexpected journey of discoveries, revelations, from unearthing artifacts hidden in the bookshop walls to uncovering the truth about her family, her future, and her own heart. This is good. The Death of a Bookseller. Roach would rather be listening to the latest episode of her favorite true crime podcast than assisting the boring and predictable customers at her local branch of the Bookstore Spines, where she worked her entire adult life. A serious true crime junkie, Roach looks down her nose at the pumpkin spice latte drinking casual fans who only become interested in the genre once it got trendy. But when Laura, a pretty and charismatic charismatic children's bookseller, arrives to help rejuvenate the struggling bookstore branch. Roach recognizes in her an unexpected kindred spirit. Despite their common interest in true crime, Laura keeps her distance from Roach, resisting the other woman's overtures of friendship. Undeterred, Roach learns everything she can about her new colleague, eventually uncovering Laura's traumatic family history. When Roach realizes that she may have come across her very own true crime story, interest swiftly blooms into a dangerous obsession. All right. Our final book. Angelica Reseda. This isn't the first one. This is one of the middle ones. I know I own it. I know it's in my house. I just can't find it. And it's pissing me off that I just can't find it. So, Trisha Miles is the owner of Haven't Got a Clue Bookstore. Her sister is Angelica. Angelica is it's a secret for quite a while. But, and Trisha finally, and it takes her forever. And you're sitting there going, Trisha, how could you not figure it out? Angelica owns, Nigella Reseda Associates. It's Angela spelled backwards. She has Mr. Everett, the elderly gentleman that works in the store. She has Chief Baker, but in the beginning, they have a relationship and they might get romantic at some point. But it has a twisty turn you did not see. That guy turns evil, huge, big time evil. Jenny is Trisha's assistant at the bookstore. She will eventually get her own shop, I think, and she will also marry Antonio Barbero, who turns out to be Angelica's biological son. So there's lots going on here. This particular one is chapter and hearse. The first one I think is bookbinding. According to the gossip around Stoneham, New Hampshire, Trisha Miles cannot put down a real murder mystery. After all, the owner of the mystery bookstore, Haven't Got a Clue, has been spending more time solving whodunits than reading them. Trisha's sister, Angelica, considers herself to be the next celebrity chef to celebrate her first cookbook. Angelica hosts a launch party, but sadly the only guest is an oversized intro of herself. Worse than the lack of fans is a nearby gas explosion that injures her boyfriend Bob Kelly, the head of the Chamber of Commerce. Trisha's never been a fan of Bob, but when she reads that Bob is being light-flipped about the accident and how it killed the owner of the town's history bookstore, it's time to take action. After the incriminating details emerge, Trisha gets wrapped up in the murder that proves to be as spine-tingling as the books on her shelves. Yeah, Bob doesn't prove to be too trustworthy either down the road. So those are my bookshop mysteries, most of which we have done on the channel. Some of them we will be doing in the future on the channel. You never know how it goes. And I'm still trying to decide what to do about Christmas. So you may see a couple KAITLYN Dunnetts again. We may do some Christmas ones. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. I haven't decided as of yet. Please hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. Most appreciative.